Hey folks, how's it going? Raz here, and welcome back to another episode of Cards and Castles TV commentary. Now, I know we normally would have some kind of draft video up on the weekends, on the Saturdays here, but given some current circumstances, I am not going to be in a position on Saturday to record the draft, so I'm kind of pre-recording this video as a way to give you guys some content while I am away for the weekend. So, with that being said, we do have some matches to get into, some games to commentate. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in to game number 1. Alright, folks, and match number 1, we'll see Wazz with the Pirate Crusader taking on dogehkiin, hopefully pronounce that one right, with the Warlock Crusader. So let's go ahead and jump in, see how both of these players do in our opening contest. As so far, it looks to be pretty standard, no interaction stuff from dogehkiin. We'll see what Wazz brings out. Master Thief, usually a pretty good indication of some kind of school or greed build. We'll see if either of those come true. And yeah, starting things off here, nice and easy. We got the Master Thief coming out from Wazz, the Imp response from Doge. Metal now into the Dancing Swords here. Not a choice you see in green-yellow often, so very curious to see that make an appearance there. And when you see the Incinerate, we can only assume potentially maybe a no-interaction strategy coming out from Doge, which is fine. I mean, it's a proven deck. You can't really not say that. But anyway, we'll see how Wazz does against this build here. Throwing out the Con Artist, resulting in a Dark Bender now from Doge. So Doge looking to establish more of the board presence here. That will catch an Onslaught. Looks like you might have some time to use it, though, which is nice. But meanwhile, Wazz is going to retreat the rest of the units back, including a Lumberjack newly drawn, into the Headwood, a choice that no interaction decks sometimes pivot towards, sometimes don't. So good to see that Headwood is getting some love here in this deck. We'll see a Flying Books, though, from Wazz in response. Meanwhile, Lumberjack taking a shot. Connor's moving around, trying to move around to anticipate the incoming burn here. Dragon's Fire, though, going to do a nice bit of cleanup work. And, of course, Darkbender taking the 3 towards Castle, which is the correct move here, I will say, because of that bleed element. If he were to keep it back, he would not be able to get any further use out of it, since it would effectively die in the next turn. So, again, good heads up of the bleed there and making the most out of the unit while you can. Meanwhile, moving the Headwood up as well, which is nice here. So we'll see how what we have on Wazz's side. Going to use the Con Artist to bring out a Northlands Ranger a bit early. All right, not bad, not bad. Certainly some beef, and usually no interaction decks are not the biggest fan of all that beef, because they want to use all their burn to effectively hit the castle rather than wasting that on units here. We're going to see Headwood make a trade here with the Con Artist, or at least kill it off with the extra health boost from the Priest. Interesting that he wanted to take that route, but I guess you don't want any sort of gold shenanigans further affecting this game. And Ranger, of course, taking a big 7 shot after Paladin making an appearance here. Meanwhile, the burn's kind of evening things out here. The game is still fairly close. Dragon's Fire hitting the board here. That's going to be a nice way to, of course, kill off the Ranger with help from, I believe, the Imp and Rider. Unfortunately, Rider missing the Paladin, which may be a good thing for this deck. Again, the deck likes to go face, so any sort of additional burn damage that Doge can get, I think he'll appreciate. Armory Lumberjack here. Wazz, unfortunately, looking to kind of, or looking a little low on resources here, maybe usable resources. Rider Part 2 coming out and hitting again the castle, which is, of course, great for Doge. He wants to further kill that castle. He only needs to get the castle down to about 2 HP. He has the Incinerate in hand to deal the remaining damage. Although Big Boy Craxus plus Merchant Estate coming out. Alright, not a combination. Well, I guess the Craxus you see often, but Merchant's Favor is a little interesting. Okay, Darkbender hitting the board now. That, of course, unfortunately being played a little safe here. Now, I will comment that I don't think that was the right play to make. We see the Incinerate being used here, but what I mean by this is that you do have some stronger units here in the form of books to block. I think the risk may have been worth it to try and take to at least move the Darkbender in a spot where you can hit lethal next turn. If he has the murder, he has the murder, and that's fine, but I think playing it safe like this, you allow the green-yellow player time to recover, time to recuperate, which in that time they could bring out things like Cans of the Saint, Arbiter, things that are really, really devastating against the no-interaction builds, because of course all their burn progress just disappears in the blink of an eye. So, I mean, if he has the murder, he has it. But we'll see. I do, think the Darkbender could be played maybe a little bit more aggressively here rather than just all the way off to the side in no man's land. But again, we'll see if that works out for our friend Doge here. Unfortunately, Dramoth now hitting the board here. That is a big chonker. So, all right, I guess Wazz had the heal for it. So probably a correct call maybe to put the Darkbender a little off to the side to keep it alive. That is fair, because now, of course, if we were keeping the Darkbender in the same spot, we now have to deal with 10 HP rather than 4. That's not lethal, so things kind of get messed up here. But we are kind of seeing the fault of the no interaction deck. It's starting to stumble here on the resource game just a little bit. We see Witch Bolt being played in the Armory. The Kraxus will get killed off thanks to a combination of Books and Darkbender. But realistically here, it's a big struggle with now having to deal with the Dramoth. And it looks like we are just going to surrender, which I do think probably a little bit premature to do something like that. But, I mean, if you didn't have the resources to deal with Dramoth is a big body, which nearly could have ended the game. I think Dudge was at 11 points, so he could have tanked at least a shot from Dramoth. With everything going around the board here, I understand maybe he was not just ready to deal with something like this. So, unfortunately, he is going to fall, leaving Wazz as the winner of a match here. A match that had a little bit of a comeback to get, but still an effective match for the green-yellow. So congrats to him for picking up that win. But we do have more matches to get to, so let's go ahead and jump to match number 2. All right, folks, and our next match, we'll see AtlasFalters taking on Thorfinn73. Of course, a Ninja-esque mirror matchup here, as we've got Ninja Viking taking on Warlock Ninja. So we'll see what both players have to offer. I can only imagine that we're going to be seeing Awaken maybe from Thorfinn, but curious on what Atlas brings to the table, as we are going to, of course, jump into the matchup here. And not a bad start for Thorfinn, as we've got things like Lumberjack and Salahar Soldier in our opener. Opting with the Soldier first, which is very interesting. I guess he's looking for that, early beatdown-esque style here, rather than just throwing the Lumberjack up purely for draw. He will get the Lumberjack out, though, as Atlas is going to pass turn 1, which is, unfortunate, but okay, not the end of the world here. Faithful Drake in response. Okay, so maybe a bit of a dragon deck coming out from Atlas, which wouldn't be surprising. Dragons do have a bit of a presence inside the Ninja Viking variant here, but meanwhile, Soldier's still going to effectively beat down to the castle here as a trap goes down. Okay, so trap moving the Faithful Drake forward as well. Can only imagine that might be a secret dragon, but unfortunately Thor has the response to that. A blue firebolt onto the Faithful Drake will take it off the board without being able to get any sort of trap value here. Thankfully, on Atlas's part, though, we do have Dragon Temple and a second Faithful, so we are able to clear out the Soldier before it's doing any more damage, which taking a good chunk already here. So we'll see how Atlas can recover, if at all. We'll see Dancing Swords come out now. The Drake is going to block. Of course, Shadow Drake moving in as well from the Stone Dragon, which is, great. Okay, we'll see if that goes anywhere here. Going to trigger the Secret Dragon onto the Faithful Drake, which makes sense. Unfortunately, that is a clean trade for Atlas. I think he wanted something a little bit beefier like the Green Drake to come out, but unfortunately, we just didn't see that. Masuda Blue Fire as well, kind of clearing the board in a way for Thorfinn, but of course, the Shadow Drake still on board reveals itself. Now it goes into a Lightning Blade plus Cloak of Ice, so a nice way to, of course, slow things down a bit, and also focus attention away from Atlas's own castle to actually sneak away with the lead here for the time being. Imp, though, going to come out, take a chip off the Shadow Drake, going with the Dragon's Fire for additional follow-up as well, which I'm not really sure I agree with the Dragon's Fire play here. I will just note that we did have Headmaster in hand, which can, of course, get a little bit more Awakened synergy out of the deck, i.e. you make Shodan cheaper for maybe a Shodan and potentially Arcfire play in the next turn. And, of course, you get more damage out, which means you maybe could have avoided trading with more units. Anyway, I kind of digress here with the point. I think maybe Saurus could have been a better play here. Wasting the Dragon's Fire on one single unit certainly feels bad, but I mean, we'll see if he pays for that mistake later down the line. Stone Drake making an appearance now from Atlas. So of course, if you forgot this was a Drake deck, there is a big Stone Drake right on the board. This is going to prompt Thor to go into an Arcfire Darkbender combo, of course, into the Masuta as well. So, of course, making the trade there. Not bad, giving himself board control plus Darkbender on board here. Very scary for sure. Green Drake into the Secret Dragon play now. Okay, I imagine he's going to want to throw this in the Darkbender range. He's going to try and maybe sneak away with a stronger unit. Unfortunately, though, for him, the Arc Fire is in hand, so it's not going to be really enough here. Even if he tanks the Darkbender shot, we see the Arc Fire coming in and making quick work of the Green Drake. And has enough golds for Shodan in this next turn, so of course that is going to be thrown up at the top there. Probably going to synergize with the Headmaster, which is maybe why we ended up keeping Headmaster and wasted the Dragon's Fire. Which, I mean, sure, we create big, fast Shodan. Makes sense. Atlas going to respond with a Stone Drake. Unfortunately, not doing a whole lot here. Salahar Soldier for the draw. Going to play that before the Saurus to get max value out of the Saurus here, at least for the resources that he has on board. Interestingly enough, that Shodan goes for the Stone Drake here rather than putting some pressure on face. I guess maybe he couldn't reach it. Maybe I'm doing the math wrong, but I think he maybe could have with that extra movement from the Reawakening. Regardless, here we are going to see the Faithful Drake from the Dragon Knight plus the Lightning Blade be able to take out that Shodan. So now, of course, the big threat on the board is no more from Thorfinn. He will get the chance, though, to equalize the game a little bit here. The Salahar Soldier slapping for 3, bringing the game to 10-11 in favor of Atlas. We do see, unfortunately, though, Lumberjack coming out for Atlas, so more cycle. Into the Stone Dragon statue, another Shadow Drake hitting the board. Meanwhile, the Green Drake, of course, is going to come out from the Stone Dragon statue, being another nuisance to Thorfinn's side of things. And, of course, Thor going to end up drawing here with a bit for the Lumberjack here. Going for the Dojo Meditation play, which would have been good. Unfortunately, though, for him, the Shadow Drake is, of course, right in position there, as you'll see in just a moment. This bad boy is going to reveal himself. The Dragon Temple popping down. The Darkbender eliminated from the board. And Atlas, of course, moving in the remainder of his units. Thor for turn, drawing the Mage Apprentice and Masuda. And he's actually going to scoop it up right there, considering the fact that Mage Apprentice doesn't have the ability to actually take out anything. The Masuda would probably have made the trade for Dragon Knight, but other than that, it would have been a rough time. Mage Apprentice couldn't even block because of the way the Shadow Drake was positioned. So got to give it to Atlas here for making a nice comeback in this game. What seemed to be a very controlled matchup here with all the arc fires and burns coming out. Glad to see the Dragons were able to push through in the end with their beef and stealth trickery. But with that being said, we do have one more match to get to for the day. So, folks, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into game number 3. And, folks, for our final game of the day, game number 3, we've got lordinsertio taking on Derek Dudge. Of course, Derek, a good friend of the channel. And maybe a bit of on a win streak here, as you see down below. 3179 to 3181, 3181 to 3202. So, on a bit of a win streak here. We'll see if he's able to keep it up against Lord here, as the Warlock Crusader takes on the Druid Warlock. We'll see what Derek's got for us, if there's going to be anything fun inside of the deck list today. Starting things off, though, with a simple Lumberjack here. Vicious Sunflower in the mix as well. Derek, is this a bit of a Last Will deck? Ooh, Living Vines in a bit of a mix here. Alright, so potentially some Last Will going on here. We've got Darkbender, we've got Living Vines. Not something you see really at all in the competitive game here. So we'll see if that's going to be used to any sort of success. Flamestorm coming out a bit early, to be honest here. We do allow Soldier to strike into Castle. Flower is going to trade. Does leave us a clean board to go into the Living Vines, which of course makes sense. It's something we can play. And that's not bad. Bit of a beefcake for 3 gold here. We'll see if the Lord can respond. He cannot. We see the books being pushed all the way up to the top there. This is going to leave Derek some additional room to get out the Darkbender for turn. Not bad, not bad. Lord, meanwhile, going to Flamestorm again. This is going to let the books trade in, unfortunately, with the Vines. So, unfortunately, we couldn't see Vines do anything cool. It's a bit of a shame, but hopefully we can show something else in the deck, as we're assembling some more pieces inside here in our hand. Demonic Rage, Swordsman, some blue fires as well. Derek gonna have some incredible control in the matchup here. Headwood up at the top. Like, no matter for us, as Derek's got not 1 but 2 bolts, using one of them to clear out the Headwood. Opting to not go Sunflower here, which of course kind of tells me that maybe Last Will is a part of the strategy here, and we want to keep that for something like an Andrew if we have it in hand. Which is, you know, hopefully we'll see it, but instead I think we're going to go with the Swordsman play here. Yep, swordsman into the Darkbender retreat. Opting to not trade into the books here, which I guess makes sense to a degree. Even if you place a Darkbender down here, though, you can still trade with most of, I think, what he puts out here. I guess that was probably a bit of a tougher call to make, but I guess Darkbender here to kind of just force a more scary position for Lord makes sense. Meanwhile, here we're going to see the Reinforced plus Sentry Golem come down here, books to block. Unfortunately, oh, and that's the additional follow-up, which is great. So not only can we Darkbender here clear off the book, we put down the Seed of Regrowth, we can put an 8/7 Swordsman, thanks to Demonic Rage, onto Faith, and that is going to deal some nasty damage. Because, of course, if Lord doesn't have direct burn or a fear, it means that he has to trade with that Swordsman directly, which is not going to be a fun time. Thankfully, he does have the Rite of Awakening, though, it looks like. And, of course, going to Grotesque Lumber as well, so maybe trying to dig for some heals, Hands of the Saint, Arbiters, what have you. And Golem, of course, taking a big swing, which actually might tell me that this is an Awakened deck from Lord, rather than just a pure no-interaction strategy. Ryder going to try and clean up the Trent as best as she can, but unfortunately the Trent is too strong, requiring the help of Flying Books. But of course that is going to be game over because Derek still has the Darkbender in the back. Overall, a fantastic showing from Derek, bringing some fun stuff to the table. Swordsman Demonic, you've got the Living Vines doing something. Curious, though, on what the larger strategy of that deck was, however, because I feel like we didn't maybe see it enough, or maybe we did, and I just don't know. But, you know, Derek will let us know, I think, in the comments, maybe. I don't want to put him on the on any sort of pressure. But regardless, folks, that was our third game, and what a way to wrap up the day. So let's go ahead and close out this video. Right, and with that being said, folks, of course, we are going to close out for the day. Hope you guys did enjoy this round of TV commentary. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the matches. If so, let me know what your favorite matchup was down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, share it with your friends, and, of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already or are new to the channel. Because, of course, that is the best way that you can show your support here and help us grow. We are ever so closer to the 1K milestone. But that is going to do it for me for now. So, until next time, guys, stay gaming.